businesses require a certain level of stability in order really to be able to function. Small businesses, even more so, they have limited amount of cash flow, and it's just the way that small businesses work. And when the whatever administration's in place is changing things, good, bad, or indifferent. Again, this isn't about that. It's simply just about whether or not there's change going on. Businesses can't really plan for that, and that's what we're struggling with right now in the small business world with the Trump administration and the tariff policy, which since Liberation Day in April, beginning of April, has evolved, mutated, adjusted as the whims of the president decides he wants to change things. And from a business planning standpoint, where when I work with my clients, that's what we're struggling with right now. And we started this many years or many months ago, excuse me, preparing for eventual Trump presidency. We kind of saw which way it was heading, and even we are having difficulties across the board with a lot of my companies. So we're going to get an article today from the New York Times where they're talking about the impact it's having on some small businesses, specifically this one out of Vermont. And they're a great example of, again, I want to say great, but they're a good example of how businesses are even trying to struggle and make sense of the tariffs within themselves and classification. Wait do you see some of these percentages? It's going to blow your mind. Again, for those who don't know, my name is Ryan Howe. I'm a business coach that works out of West Michigan and around the country, and I come here live on YouTube pretty consistently every single day, just sharing information I share with my clients, and I hope to earn your subscription today. So let's get into it here. So again, the link's going to be in the description. Be sure to go check that out. Trump's China tariffs are having a massive impact on small business. That is the understatement of the day. Now we're gonna talk about the small Vermont business, and they sell water bottles. Wait to see, like, again with tariffs, wait, it's all about how things are classified and viewed by um, the import status, right, and what the importer has to pay as far as the tariff fee. And this is just wild when you take a look at this. Now, again, by the way, even after they are the tariffs have been lowered, but they're still higher than they were last year. Like that's kind of the thing here, is that just like with inflation over the last little bit, right? So we're all excited that egg prices are down like 35 to 40% since the beginning of the year, right? They're still up 60% from 3 years ago. So it still costs more. Like, that's kind of what we're dealing with here. Even though they have lowered them, they are what they are. All right. So when President Trump temporarily reduced tariffs this month on imports from China from the astronomical level that he had set in March, the stock market soared, and economists said a recession was now less likely. And again, with the economists, when they're saying that, and you know, the data's mixed, and there's a good possibility we might miss a recession. I'm not holding out a lot of hope because of these residual tariffs and businesses not wanting to spend. Like, that's what we're really stuck with at the moment. But the emergency is not over for small business owners like Karina Hamill and Robbie Ringer, who import products from China. Their company, again, I'm going to mess this up, probably Bevo or Bivo, sells stainless steel water bottles with patented nozzles that allow users, again, cyclists, to gulp drinks quickly. Before the tariffs threatened the company's existence, founder said nearly 5-year-old business was run out of a former, and corset factory, whatever, was almost profitable. So it's been 5 years old, and it was getting to the point where it was almost profitable, where the investors were going to start maybe getting their money back. The drop in tariffs this month to 30% from 145%. That's just wild to think of those numbers. On the Chinese goods was relief, but in the way that a flood is better than a tsunami. Exactly. It's a great analogy for that. 6 weeks ago's 30% would have shocked the world. Yeah, 100%. Like 30. Good Lord. And now people are like, oh yeah, it's only 30%. Like we're supposed to be okay with that. And again, when these business owners put their business model together, they did not have 30% tariffs on was nowhere in the calculus. And that's what they're struggling with right now. Now, the duties in the bottles are higher than 30% because the materials they're made from and how they are classified by trade officials. Bevo bottles are not insulated and are subject to tariffs that add up to 47%. And the rate for insulated bottles is 37%. So you can just see that difference right there. That's almost a 30% difference that they have to deal with just because they're not insulated. This is what people are trying to navigate here. This is what they're stuck with. Now, Trump has frequently said that foreign businesses that ship products to U.S. pay the tariffs, but in reality, it's importers pay it. the way, and then again, just go real quick. So we go back here. The, what Trump is saying by the fact that the businesses that send this direction pay the tariff when really it's the importer, whoever purchases it, pays the tariff. I believe what the president is getting at, what Trump is talking about, is that they end up paying for it in lost sales, which then are picked up by local manufacturers. But there is a time, like there's lead time, there's lag behind that. It takes up to 18 months on a lot of these businesses to be able to spin up. In my area, we had a lot of manufacturing that had been dead for a while, and now people are starting to reinvest. But here's the deal: this is the thing, they're starting to pull back on some of that investment because as the tariffs lower, the price that they're going to be able to do business at, basically produce these items at, are still, even at 30%, are not going to be competitive with what they can do out of China. So that's what I'm saying, is like there's a lag and a lead time that has to take place in order to be able to produce these things at scale. And when even at a 30% rate, we're still not competitive, is really what it comes down to. So when he's saying that the businesses that are, like China's going to pay the tariff, again, through lost sales, that's not really the case. We want to continue to produce things here, manufacture here, sell things here. There's a cost associated, and it's going to be higher. Now, a big thing here, it's a massive impact to the cash, and it requires reworking the entire strategy. And with businesses, and that's what I get when I work with my clients on this, specifically those businesses that want to sell, we are looking at their overall strategy and the ability to flex and adapt the strategy according to the environment, right? And that's very difficult when you don't even know what the tariff and the costs are going to be from day to day. That's what businesses are struggling with right now. Again, they're expecting sales to be 30% lower across the board. Now, when we talk about, there's other stuff in here as well. Oh, you guys, sorry about that, guys. I was not trying to have your subscribe thing hit again. That sometimes my software just pops it up from time to time. So the other piece they're going to get into here in the article, be sure to go check it out, is the National Federation of Independent Business Owners. There's a discussion right now. It is 4 months in a row, four months in a row, that businesses have a basically lower expected sales going forward. Like that's where they're at currently. So and this is the key. This is where a lot of folks forget about this. So consumer sentiment is something that we track and everyone pays attention to, right? What's the consumer saying? Well, the business sentiment is as important, if not more important, because that's where capital expenditures come from, and that's also who does the vast majority of purchasing within the basically within the economy. American consumers, right, in the US, we spend a bunch of money, right? But the manufacturers, they're spending even more to produce the goods at volume at sale, because there's a lot of stuff that sits on inventory, and there's labor and the labor costs that are there. So if every business is not seeing future state as far as for consumers buying, that has such a, it's not even a trickle down, it's a bullwhip effect. As you move back through the supply chain, everyone stops spending. And that's where we're at right now. And because no one knows what the costs are going to be, and no one can make those, no business can really make those assumptions. So they're worried about spending any cash that they do have, because once you have that cash not available, you still got to make payroll. You have to be able to, pay the bills, pay the rent. And if it's stuck in inventory on a shelf waiting to be produced or be purchased, then you're stuck. You're like, what are you going to do? And when you add the tariff costs on top of it, that's eating away at the free cash flow for these businesses, right? So this is where we're stuck with. So when I'm talking to my clients and we're having those conversations about, hey, what in the world do we do here? Because just last week, Trump said, hey, 50% tariff on EU but then because Europe isn't playing ball. So Europe's like, okay, well, so for 4 days, tariffs were going to be 50%. What do you do with that, right? And so that's where we're at here. So with my clients, and this is unfortunately what we are doing, is we're taking strategic pauses on some purchases. We're taking strategic pauses on hiring. And while this pause is going on, we're looking at operations. And this would be my advice to anyone, whether you're a consumer or not. During these times where you're not spending as much money and investing or buying things for around the house, take a look at your overall cost and where they're going, and see if there's ways that you can reduce those over time. one of the ways you can do that for businesses, we're looking at how do we automate things. I have one business that I'm working with right now currently. I'm taking what I do with my business, and I'm working with another business to move it over as something I'm selling. So if you're curious about this, feel free to reach out about how I do this. But I have a system that when someone goes to summitbusinessguys.com, and there's a link on there to be able to take the value builder assessment for your business, where once you do the assessment, fill it out, I get an email, right? Notifies me, hey, somebody went and did it. I have an automated process through AI that automatically creates a user profile, basically prospect profile, fills it out completely for me, business profile, and puts everything into the Google folders, pre-builds everything for me. So that way, when the email comes through, I know if I go about a half hour later, I'm going to be able to go and pull whatever pertinent information I need to have, to include some questions that I can ask that business owner about, hey, you're looking to sell your business. Well, let's see where you're at. Why did you get it? And I have questions already pre-programmed for me. If I were to pay someone to do that or to do it myself, I timed it out. It was on average between 6 and 12 hours of my time to build all this out. Now it's down to about 15 minutes of my time to review, double check, and just maybe tweak the questions a bit. And that's what we're looking at with across the board for my clients is, okay, what can we automate in order to, unfortunately, look at reducing labor to be able to mitigate these tariff issues. So when it is time and like things do pick up, we're hiring for folks who are going to be able to produce the products or services that we need. And we're not hiring folks to do the data entry when in reality that can be automated. So that's the advice I'm giving to my clients right now. And what I would tell you is if you look across the board at all the big boys, right? Big boys and girls, the large businesses and large companies, they're reducing middle management and administrative staff. They're reducing anyone who is basically data collection analysis. And that is a harbinger of things to come for everyone. So my advice to individuals is, and again, I got a cousin, he sees me, he's been hearing me say this more recently, is take 30 minutes a day and learn these large language models. Learn how to use Claude or ChatGPT for business solutions. I cannot overstate how important that's going to be for every single individual to be able to do that, because those folks that can't do it are going to be struggling, okay? So with that, again, tariffs, we have no idea over the next 9 to 12 months where these tariffs are going to land. We just don't. I have no idea what it's going to look like. So for businesses right now, spend where you need to for inventory, right, to meet customer demand, but think long and hard about your processes, everything that you do. Find a way to automate them. Again, if you'd like to learn more about how to do that, go ahead and reach out to summitbusinessguides.com. You can reach me there. Again, for those that are looking to sell your business, again, it's one of the things that I offer. It's my main business that I do is exit planning, where I help those individuals evaluate their company, and we come in strategically and use an 8-step process through the Value Builder system to look at your business from end to end and set it up in a way that is going to get you the highest multiple for your business when you do sell. And the reason I'm in this business, why I've started this is, as far as helping businesses get ready to sell, has to do with protecting jobs. In my area, one of the biggest worries that I have are these super regionals or extremely large companies, the large conglomerates coming in and buying up small businesses here and then getting rid of 90% of the jobs. And that's for me, that's really worrisome. And that's why I do the work I do, so we can protect jobs locally here in my area here in West Michigan. This is the heart of what I'm doing. We're trying to make everybody as competitive as possible so we can maximize jobs locally and keep that money here in my area. So that's why I do those things. Again, I work nationally. I have companies that I work on, East and West Coast as well. So again, if you're looking to learn more about that, again, summitbusinessguides.com. There's a link down in the description as well. If you would just like to go take the Value Builder assessment, see where your business is at, feel free to do that. With that, I appreciate everybody hanging out this long. Hopefully I earned your subscription today. Take care, and I will see you.